All right, editing our pages using Elementor. So editing our pages using Elementor. So the first page that we are going to start with is the home page. It's also known as a landing page. Landing page meaning that it's the first page that users view when they open your website. So the first step that we are going to do is to open a page. Then from there we can select our page editor, and then we can proceed from there. So first things first. So I have a shortcut for that. You can open your pages directly from here. But I would advise to be opening it on a different tab. You click on that, you open a new tab. You come here, you can see your landing page is here. This is our previous theme, that is Astra. So click on home. So this is the first page that we are working on. And then you can see at the top here, we have several options. And I will insist on this. When your users logs in on your website, they'll not be able to see these functionalities. The reason why you are seeing this is because you are logged in as the backend editor to your website. So we'll have to click on this edit page. Click on it. Good. There we go. So another thing that I want us to be taking note of is I want you to change the page layout, the page editing layout. You can come to, no, sorry. It's, I want us to adjust the template. So we'll just come here, you click on template, default template. Then you can click on the drop down, and I want you to select Elementor full width. Good. Very nice, very nice, very nice. So after that, you can always ensure to save your changes. So I repeat, I said when you after setting the template to Elementor full width, you always have to save. You always have to save the changes. So that is done. So the next thing is you click on edit with Elementor. Very nice, very nice. There we go. So from here, the next thing is to click on this. So before we click here, let me just elaborate on a few things here. So on the left side of the screen, we have elements. So these are the functionalities that comes with the Elementor editor. So we have a container, we have a grid, we have basics that we have here. Of course, we have other pro features that comes with the Elementor Pro, which is a premium version. But don't worry, because the basic features will enable us to build our first WordPress website. So the first thing is to build a container. A container is simply a container is an element that houses our content on the website. So what do I mean by this? When you come here, you have to click on this plus. After that, we have a container layout. So we have a flexbox, we have a grid. But for this case, or rather this type of website, I'll recommend you to click on flexbox. Then from there, we have structures. So you have to select which type of structure you want. We have several structures with one row, one column, two columns, more than two columns, 4 rows, something like that. But for this case, you can select whichever structure you want. I'll select this. From there, you can see now we have two structures. As you can see, we have one major container. Under that container, we have two other containers inside, as you can see on the left and on the right. At the top here, we have a plus, we have a 6 dot, and we have a close, of course, which is also meaning the same as delete container. So our focus for now is now to edit these containers. We can decide to edit each container individually, like that. You can, when you hover around the first container on the left, you can see we have this icon. When you click on it, we have these editing features here. So these features edits this container individually. We can as well decide to do that on this side. When you click on this other side, you can see the same icon here. You can click on edit container and we have the same functionalities as well. But now if you want to edit the entire container, you can click on this like that, and then we have the entire editings for the entire container, these ones. So maybe let's start from here, then we see what happens. So the first thing, we after click on that, we can at the top here we have critical information, we have a layout, we have a style editing tools, and we have advanced tools as well. So we can start with the style, then later we can come up, we can come and adjust these ones later on. So let's start with style. So style generally consists of the colors and so on and so forth. So after you land on this background page, we can select on the classic. Click on the classic. Under classic, we have this color, background color. So if you want to change the entire background color of these two columns, we have to select our colors from this point. But I want to take note of something. You can remember we did some adjustments on our theme. We did some global editings. We added our colors, so we should be able to see the colors we selected, or rather we set at the beginning when we are building our website. So there they are. You can see them here. So I can select this one as our first color. Maybe you can see how it looks, but it's all upon you to decide which color you want to use at this point. We have this color as well. You can see it changes here. We can also check on this color. I remember it's called azure. You can see it's also taking effect. For this case, I think we can start with this, see how it goes. Then from here, yeah, there's also another option here to add an image on this container, but let's not take that route first because I want to show you something. We have to check, I want us to work on something called as padding and margin. And the margin, the margin. So what is the margin? What is a margin when it comes to website development, or rather website designing? So margin is generally the space outside the container. The space outside the container at the top here. And what is padding? Padding is the space inside the container. I will repeat. Margin is simply the space outside the container, and the padding is actually the space inside the container. And what matters when it comes to web designing is actually the padding, because when you come here, for example, let's say we want to include margin or other. But when you look at the margin, we have the top, we have a right, we have the bottom, and we have the left margin, right? So what do this mean? When you adjust the margin when you input a figure, for example, at the top, it means that you are adjusting the space at the top. When you put a margin value for this side, we will be adjusting the left side as well. We will be leaving a space at the left. The same thing applies to the right. The same thing applies to the bottom. But these entire adjustments will apply on the entire container, because we also have individual adjustments for each container. As I said, we have this icon. When you click on this icon, you'll have individual adjustment for each of this padding. We'll have padding done for each of these containers separately. But now at the moment, let's focus on the entire container. So let's see what happens when you add a figure on the margin at the top. Let's say we add a margin of 20. You can see that space is leaving. You can add a margin of 50. See, that's good. You can add a margin of 100. See, the more we had a bigger number, the more the container moves away from the header, which means this is the outside adjustment. That is what we call the margin. When you want to get it back to default, you just give it a 0 figure. Let's give it a 0, and then there we go. You're back to where we are. There's another thing I want you to be careful about. When you're adjusting the margin, there's another thing called there's individual directions. Like for example, when we said we are adjusting at the top, the figure will adjust at the top. When you say at the right, it will adjust for the right bottom, and so on and so forth. So let's try to check at this this link here. So this chain like link, it means that when you input a figure, all that figure will apply across the directions of the container. What if we click on it? We unlink. So if you click on it, it means it's unlinked. When you see it's highlighted, it means that it's linked. So for example, let's again try input a figure here. Maybe let's put 50. You see, it's now working on the top alone. Top only is where the adjustments is being made. You can come as well on the bottom, or let's say on the left. Maybe we say 60. You can see we have those adjustments taking effect as well. At the moment, we can leave it at 0. And as I told you, adjusting the margin when it comes to web development or web design is not a big issue, but later on we can see whether we need to do that adjustment maybe only at the bottom or at the top. So let's come to padding. You can just link it back and leave it at that point. Let's come to padding. So padding is, I said padding is inside. Yeah, it's the inside space. So let's input a figure so that we can learn from that if we do it practically. Let's say we do a padding of 30. You see what happens? Yeah, you're able to see that we are creating some space inside. We are actually becoming more organized. Let's add a padding of 60. You see, the container is moving towards the center, or rather inside and not outside, as compared to what we are doing initially. So I would recommend us to use a padding of maybe 35, something like that. Or let's try 30. Yep, that is good, not bad. So padding actually just gives the beautification of your website, the content alignment, arrangement of content within your website. And as you can see, our content is looking good. Not our content, actually our containers are looking good at this point. So we can leave it at 30, but remember we always have room for adjustments. So at the moment we can leave it at that. Come down here, we have to align we have this option of aligning our containers, or rather the content that is within our containers. So this control will affect contained elements only. You can just see here, I've highlighted this control will affect contained elements only. So we have this option of aligning to the start, we have this option to the center, we have this option to the end, and we have this option of to stretch. But at the moment we can do it at the start, but as I told you, there's room for adjustments. We'll come to that later on. That is the basic thing that we are supposed to learn on this advanced side. So we can get back to style and see. No, we can go back to layout. So from the layout, we have what is known as the width, and we have a minimum height, in which of them are in the units of pixels. So this is another place whereby you can be able to see the adjustments. For example, if we input, we try to drag this, you can see how our container, the height of our container increases. Yeah, you can increase this to the whatever minimum height you want, but you can leave it at that. You can leave it at that point. Then you can come here the width as well. The width can be adjusted. You see, you can adjust your width. But I will recommend us not to interfere with that. We can leave it at that point, but we'll adjust them as time goes by. So the next thing that I want us to do is now to learn how to add content within our containers. First things first, so we have to click on this plus, because this plus is simply where we are adding the elements. This is where we add elements from. So when you click on this plus, you can find we have a container grid, but the layout, no, we are not adding that one at the moment. So we come at the basic widgets. So we are going to add widgets. You can recall when I was explaining more about Elementor page editor, I was talking of also flexibility in adding widgets, and this is where everything is. So Let's say on the left side, maybe we want to have an image. Let's see how it goes. So you can just come here, you drag this towards at the center, then you drop. Good. I will repeat. You just drag, you come at the plus, you select that image, you drag and drop it at that point. But yeah, you drop it like that, and then there's you click on that image, blank image, and then at the bottom here we have an option of choose image. So this is a point whereby you can always choose any image that you want to add here. Of course, my personal images, because this is my website. If it's another website, so for you are doing for another person, then you can always add. It's recommended that you use images that is recommended at that time. So I'll click on choose image. At the moment, I have not yet uploaded my images to the media library, but no problem. You come here, click upload, then you select files. Then of course I have images under my personal website that I have sample of images that I'll be using. For this case, you can select this. By the way, I generated this image on ChatGPT. There's a prompt, and I can always share on the comment section. I'll share a prompt on how to generate such professional images, because you understand some people are maybe photophobic, but when it comes to digital space, you don't have to be photophobic, my friends, because you need these images. For clients always identify with the class identifies you with your images, and your images is like your brand representation. So you can click on select. There we go. Boom, boom. Wonderful, nice. So we have our first image on the website, as you can see. Is it nice? Another thing we can do, guys, is to adjust the height of this container. So as I told you initially, adjusting this height is adjusting the height of the container is not that hard. You just come here. You have to click on this 6 dot. You come here and you play along with the height. You can drag it a little bit. Let's see. I don't know why it's not taking effect. Can try to adjust the height. I don't know. It's not moving. Width. Oh yeah. Since it's the width. No, not the width. The width should remain the way it was. Maybe we can say the width it at that point, then the height. Oh, minimal height. Oh, it's the effect from the image. Okay, no problem. So you have to click on this image. Then we have settings below the same image. So you can decide the image size that you want. We can say it becomes like a thumbnail size. You can see. We can decide also maybe to give it a medium size, and it keeps in enlarging to according to the size that you are giving it. And then we can also decide maybe the image is too small. Maybe you can say, okay, let's do medium. See, it comes to that point. So I think it's too big. Maybe you can go with the medium of 300 by 300. Yeah, which is good. But I keep insisting adjustments is still a work in progress. We can always adjust that as time goes by. So another thing that we have to do at this point is of course, we'll do individual container adjustments, but at the moment, let's leave at that point. So the next thing that we have to do, and I told you initially when we're building our website, is to check at the top here. We have different responsiveness, or rather different views of our website. This is the desktop view, this is the tablet view, and this is our mobile portrait view as well. So you can always check on the tablet, you see how our website looks like, or rather our image. You can see whether we need some adjustments or you think it's okay. Then you can always come here as well, click on this, and you can see what we have. You can always see whatever we have. So therefore, you can always come back here on style, check on maybe the width size. You never know whether it's the width size is okay with you. You can make adjustments, alignment, or maybe the content you want to align it to the left, you want to align it to the right, you want to align it to the center. I recommend us to leave it at the center at the moment for the phone view. You can come back to tablet, and we can always align it to the left. You can decide you align it to the center or rather to the right. You can leave it at the center. You can come to desktop view as well. We can still leave that at the center. Another thing that you should not forget is always to click on publish. So guys, all the changes we have made on our website, we have published and they are live as we speak. So always remember to publish. I keep insisting on this because you might be working on your website, you lose all the content because of assuming to publish your content. So the next thing is to add another widget. What do we want to add is now maybe a header. We want to add now information inside our website. So you click on header, you drag and drop it at that point. Get it? That's the beauty of using Elementor. It's just a drag and drop. Inside this container, we have content, of course, and this is where now we come back. I told you that you can be preparing information about yourself, your bio, so that it becomes easy for when you are building your website. Like for this case, you can see I have my content here. You can come to my homepage, and this is my headline that I proposed. I wanted to use this headline, but I'll tweak it a bit because I'm feeling like I can be adding my name on this. So you can come here, you highlight all of this, then you right click and paste as plain text. That is it. So you might not be seeing it visible here. Perhaps it's because of the color of our content. So we can come back here, typography, do some adjustments and check on the global colors. Maybe you can check on, no, sorry for that. You can check on text color. All right, very nice. So let's proceed building our homepage website, or rather the landing page of our WordPress website. So on the left here, we have added an image, which is already, this is content. We are adding content actually into our website. On this right side, we are going to add now the information. So initially, I told you that you always have to prepare a bio about yourself, or rather information that you want to incorporate into your website. As you can see here, I already have information, and we'll start with the headline and then we go to our sub headline here. So what do we do? Because this is an Elementor, as I told you, it's just a drag and drop editor where we'll be adding all the information by using widgets, or rather elements. So because we want to add a headline here, the first thing that we'll have to do is simply to add, sorry, I already added an element here. Let me just delete it for the sake of yeah. So I said we have to add elements here, so that we get that capability of adding information. So the first thing, we'll have to add a header. You just come here, you left click on this, you drag and drop it inside this container. There you go. We already have a header information. And you come here on the left side, you see already we have a text here, which is in default. So we come back to our Google document sheet. We copy this. You just have to copy the headline that we have there. This is the beauty of having information prior with you. So you just have to copy this information. We come back to our editor, Elementor. You just right click and paste as plain text. That is it. You are not able to see the information here simply because we have to style it. Maybe the information color is the same as the background color. So we just come back here on the style, and we come down here under text color, and then we can give it a white color. This is a good color that will give it a good match. There you go. Now our information, our header is visible, as you can see there. So we can always style this because, as you can see, the header is already big. It has occupied most of the space here. So we can always make adjustments. All right, so after we have adjusted the font size of our header, now we have to add this other information, that is the subheadline information. So what you do is still the same thing. You have to drag this text editor into the container. So just put it right immediately below our header. So you can see we have information in default here, but we are focusing on the information that is on my biography. So just come here, the same procedure we did initially. You copy all this information here. Guys, this is the beauty of having information saved in one of your profiles, because we now just have to copy and paste. So you right click and paste as plain text. There we go. So we have information already down here. You can also play along with the color. You can just come here on under style. So you find that our text color is here. So you can think of maybe making adjustments. So you just click on text. So we can give it a white color like that. But as I told you initially, we have room for improvement. So for now, well, let's just stick with the white for the text color. So we are done with the header information, guys. What do you think so far? So far on our header information and the image. And we can always remember to publish. Always, guys, don't forget this. Always click on publish. After adding all your information, you have to click on publish. So after that, we have to check on responsiveness of this information on other devices. We can't be forgetting these critical devices, more so the phone portrait and the tablet portrait as well. So we have to start with the tablet. So let's see how it looks in our tablet. Guys, it looks nice. According to me, this information is already nice on our tablet. There's no need for adjustment as of now. When we come to our phone view, let's see how it looks. So on our phone view, I still say it's good. Maybe we will have editings later on, but at the moment, the information on our phone also looks good. So what next? After all this information and this container we have built, we proceed to the next information here, which is now an intro paragraph about this website that we are building. So the same procedure that we have is the same procedure that we'll have to follow. So the next thing that we'll have to do here is just to add another container and add in the information, the same procedure we did for this top information here. But the good thing with Elementor is once you have information, all the settings, adjustment, the font size, and so on and so forth, you can always just copy and duplicate the container that you built initially. That is, if you don't want to build another container. So what do I mean? What I mean is you come here at these 6 dotted lines here. So you just click on, you right click on that, then you click on duplicate. Boom, there we go. You can see our information is already duplicated here. This is the beauty of using Elementor, guys. This is the beauty of using Elementor. Everything becomes easier and easier as you proceed building your website. So at this moment, maybe we just need, we need to add this information here, this intro information. So what I'm thinking of is maybe for this stage, we don't need an image. So you can always delete this. So just right click and click here on delete. And boom, that information is deleted. And maybe we can now increase the length, or rather the width, and the width of this information so that it can fit on the all of this paragraph. So just tap on these 6 dots here. Then you come here on the width. Maybe we can make it full width. Let's see. So after setting the container to full width, as I showed you here, we have set the container, we have adjusted its width. The next thing, maybe we can do away with this header because we don't need it. We don't need this anymore. You just right click and delete. The next thing, maybe we can adjust this information to make it completely full width. We can always do like that, and there we go. We can have it to that point. The next thing is now to copy all this information here. The intro information, you just have to highlight everything here, then you right click and copy. Come back to our Elementor, you click the information inside here, come back to content, and then you can always highlight everything here, control, and paste as plain text. There we go, guys. We have our intro information right below here. So the next thing that I said, you always have to have a look at the responsiveness on other devices. So let's see at the tablet device how our information looks. Under our tablet device, the information looks nice. It looks nice. Actually, it's very, very nice. Let's look at our phone view, or rather mobile. On mobile view, our information also looks nice, but with the spacing we have here, we can always make adjustments. But at the moment, okay, let's just do it right now. We can always, I don't know, maybe it's a height thing. Let's see if a height thing. No. Let's adjust maybe the margin at the top. Let's unlink it first. Then we can always do some adjustments of the margin at the top. So just have to, no. You can always adjust the margin to make it more nice and appealing to the viewers. So maybe we can make it at, we can leave it at maybe at -50 at the top. At the top, it looks good at that. Let's go back to our desktop view. The desktop view is okay. So if we look at our mobile view, the adjustment is also now looking nice. So another thing that, guys, I wanted us to do is, okay, before we proceed, always remember to publish our information, guys. Very, very important, publishing our information. So our information has been published and it has taken effect. You can always view here. You can always preview your changes. And you can see, guys, our website is now taking a very nice shape here. So let's go back to editing. So, guys, we have added our intro information and the heading. The next thing is now perhaps to add now, we can think of maybe a button. I was thinking of we can add a button. So how do we add a button? We can add this button here. So this is Elementor, guys, still. And I told you Elementor is all about adding elements which gives us the functionalities. So you just have to click on this plus, and then we come here. You find your button is here. So you just drag it simple, and you can drop it at that point. After dropping it here, you click on this pencil icon, then you find all the information about editing our button is here. Just click on style, can give it a color, can give it a secondary color which is red, and the information can remain in white. So we can come back to typography. No, maybe we can come back to content, and we give our container, our button, a name. So maybe you can say work with me. Work with me. It looks nice. And here is the link. You can always link your, whenever somebody clicks on work with me, it should direct them maybe to our contact page. So we can find a link to our contact page. You can just find it here. You right click on it, copy link address. You come back here, you delete the hash, and you can paste our link there. After that, you can always click on publish, as I told you, and you can see our button is added right here. You can preview the changes. And guys, what do you think? What do you think, guys? Our button has been added on our website. Whenever somebody clicks on the button, it should always lead them to your contact page, and you can see it's responding already. Once we add information about our contact page, the users will be able to find our contact information. Let's go back and proceed editing our website. So we still have more information to add. As you can come to my Google document sheets here, we can now focus on this section of what I do. So we have under what I do is we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 key services that I offer. So we want to add the services in our website right here. So I would suggest maybe we can build another container. Let's see. We click on a plus. So guys, you should always be creative. You should always be creative. Now maybe we can select a structure that we'll want at this point. Maybe we can say, okay, maybe we need this structure. Can click on it. We have this 1, 2, 3, 4 structures right here. So maybe we can decide that the first structure will contain information about web design and development, UI UX design, SEO, digital marketing, and maybe YouTube content creation. So all of this we can have all of them contained in each of these containers that I've listed here. So we can start with the first container. You just click the plus inside our container, and the first thing that we will want to add there is maybe this web design and development. So we can just highlight web design and development. You right click, the same procedure, guys. You copy, you come back here. We have to drag a header, of course. You drag a header, fix it there. You highlight all the information under title, and then we paste as plain text. There we go. So the next thing, guys, as usual, is now to style, because the heading is already big, more than the container itself. So that's a typography issue. So just come here. You click on the pencil icon. Maybe we give it a font size, let's say of 12. Maybe the font size initially for us to avoid all that mess, you can always come here, click on this pencil icon, then you click on copy, come back here, click on this pencil icon here, you right click, and you can always paste style. And there we go, guys. But the reason why the headers disappeared is because our header here was in white, and the background of this container is in white. So what we do is just to come down here, and we can change the text color. Maybe you can say, let's give it, now let's have this primary color right here as our heading. And you can see it's visible. But we still see maybe it's still big in our container, but no problem. We'll still have adjustments as time goes on. Now let's have some information under web design and development. You simply come here, add this other container right here. After adding that, you will have to come back to our Google document sheet. We copy this information, control copy. Come back to our header, on our home editor. You click on all that information and paste as plain text. Good. We now have our information in the first container. Guys, you can always even add an image inside this container. I'll show you that one as time goes by. So we are done with this. We have already added this, but as I said, we can still do some styling. I don't know whether you like the information that has been added here. The color, the styling. Maybe you can think of adding a different color on this, the color background on these containers. But at the moment, I feel like it's okay. Let's have a white background as well. and maybe the colors can remain to this web design and development. So the next thing becomes easier, guys. This is Elementor. I keep on repeating, things becomes easier as you continue to build your website. So the next thing, what happens to the next containers? You will not have to struggle. You just have to right click on this container. You come here and copy, and you can always, guys, paste this style on other containers. Yes, you can always paste this style on other containers. So guys, the next thing now I want us to do also is to add, we want to add now another information here. We come back to our Google sheet here, and then the next information is UI UX design. So just you highlight and copy this information. We come back to our home editor. You have to add a header, drag and drop. Same procedure, guys. You control and shift all. You right click, paste as plain text, and there we have our UI UX design. And you can always as well add, let's add text information. That is a text editor. We come drop it there. No, sorry, we can just delete that. The next thing, guys, I want us to do is to make adjustments. That's why we are seeing the overlapping coming in. So just copy, as I said, just copy the design that is here, and you come click on this pencil icon, and you can always paste the style, and you can see it's taking effect. The next thing is to copy, to add text information. You just drag and drop it there. After that, we come here, copy all the information that is under UI UX design. That's how easier it becomes, guys, with Elementor. You control all, you right click and paste as plain text. We proceed to the next container. The same thing. We have to add a header, drag, drop it there, come back here, click on SEO, search engine optimization. You control copy, or you right click and copy, come back here, you control all, right click, paste as plain text, and you can do the adjustments. Of course, you have to copy style from here. You have to borrow this style here, just copy and click on that. You can also always paste style. Guys, there's another, for you not to do all these things one by one, you can always just work on with one container, and then you can duplicate, and you have them duplicated all over. Then you just do your editings. But because this is a tutorial, I want you to understand each and every stage of what we are doing. So we had another text editor under SEO. Just come here, highlight all SEO information here. I made it very brief because I like when my users go through the information, they are not bored. You make something that is as short and brief as possible, because we don't want to lose users, because the main function of our website is to convert users into your business. So you should not always make users bored. You should always make every information brief as possible. The last content that we are adding here is digital marketing. Actually, it's not the last. We have another YouTube content creation, but we'll have a design for that. So let's copy this as well. You come here, you click on plus, drag heading, boom, there we go. Add information as usual, control all, right click, paste as plain text, and that is it. Then we have to add now this other information, the text editor. Come here, boom, drop. Sorry for that. I think we didn't do the right thing here. I have to copy this style. The reason why, guys, it's overlapping is because the font size is big than the containers, so that's why we're having lots of overlapping. So once we reduce it to that font size, it becomes easier. So we come back here, we copy all this information, control copy, or right click and copy. You come back here and we drag this text. We will finish up customizing this what I do section in the next part, which is part 4. I would also like you to take note of the fact that we are so far at 50% into realizing the full potential of using Elementor. A recap of what we have covered in part 3. We have learned how to create our first container. We have learned how to add contents in our container, and also did a little touch on how to stylish the homepage. Looking forward to part 4, we expect to learn about how to create About Me page, and deep dive also on how to stylish the homepage. So see you then, guys.